Hi, my friend asked me to start a new series. Not that my first series was a big one, but we haven't been back on the technology diet for a while. Um, Definitely something I want to come back to. Was very, very positive. This, for the first of this series, this is about how to deal with a parent who's not acting the way a parent should act, being not taking care of their child, not parenting well. And you can see it. You could let all kinds of garbage excuses get in your mind, either ones that they make or the ones that you make for them. However, those of us who may struggle with a parent like that know pretty well that there's better ways, far better ways, to handle whatever it is. The way you can deal with that is number one, to recognize that your parent is a human being, just like you. They have failings, they have their pride, they have good parts and bad, and they may not do perform the role that they have for you very well. They may not be very good at it, and it may be something that they kind of got stuck into. They didn't really know how to do it well, and they did whatever worked, and they just got stuck. They don't know how to do it better, like many of us in many parts of our lives. So you can have a little space for them to think that, this person's a human being, and um, not almost certainly, but pretty much most certainly loves me and wants to parent me well, and just doesn't really know a better way. That's one. Two is when you're in the moment and you see this sort of thing and you experience it, you have the pain of being put down, of having your self image or self worth. You feel like you're crushed. You feel like their pride is overtaking you, squashing you. You could see in moments like that sometimes, especially if you've seen good parents, how a good parent could conduct themselves in this situation. And when you see that, you learn how that can be done. And more importantly, when you see that, you can take the time later and ask yourself, how could I do this? In what way could I do this in a situation like my parent is facing right now with me? What emotions are they going through? And what could I tell myself that would address those emotions and allow me to act in the way that the good parent in my head, the good example that I see would conduct themselves. And when you get that image and you understand that way of acting for yourself, you have learned something quite difficult to acquire. People do all kinds of therapy and strategies and etc. All of that is wrapped up right there in that little experience. You can call it $50,000 of therapy right there. You can ask yourself, what emotions would I be going through? And what would it take? What could I say to myself that would enable me to act as the good parent that can be here in this situation? That's how you can gain from these, from a difficult situation like that. This never means to subordinate yourself and make yourself like nothing, like a doormat, um, feel just lower than and quashed and disgusting. None of those things are ever the answer. If you can't handle the situation, you can't handle what they're doing, how they're conducting themselves, then give yourself a little space. Give yourself a little distance. You need to take care of yourself first. So, just like a little kid who's, running around hitting people, okay, it doesn't really hurt that much. If the little kid's running around with a knife, you got to figure out a way to deal with it, but you don't stand in the danger zone, right? And sometimes people don't have better ways to deal with things than the most basic, worst way to deal with it. And usually that's because they never learned. They never had a model to show them how they can act. So you can take that challenge that your parent never passed and pass it yourself, and not pass on the challenge to the next generation. Wish you guys great success.